Welcome to my channel. Today we shall be decorating a traditional marriage cake. The first thing we are going to be doing now is to make our palm wine gourd. There is no traditional marriage cake in Nigeria without it. It's very essential. So I baked my cake in a Wilton medium ball pan. If you don't have a Wilton pan, then feel free to bake a size 6-inch cake and then carve out a ball out of it. I'm trimming out the excess of the cakes, and then I shall be adding some buttercream to the cake so that I can put the second side of my cake. Alright lovelies, while we are preparing to put the second side of our cake, if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed, I would love you to look below and click on the subscribe button. We're all about cake decoration. We only post tested and tried recipes, tested and tried ways of doing things that will work for you in your cake decoration. We also love to do wafer paper arts a lot. So also don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to put your comments. We'll be so happy to hear from you and also reply you immediately. Thank you so much. Alright, so we have so far put our second side on top, and I've used the skewer to put our two cakes together. Those skewers are going to make sure that our cakes don't shift. So what I'm doing now is just crumb coating. I've already rolled out my fondant. I'm going to be covering this in white, okay? And now it's time. So if you watch very well, I'm going to start by rubbing the top of my cake to make sure that no bubbles are left inside, and then you pull out and you glue. You pull out and you glue until everywhere is completely covered. Okay, so one great tip is that make sure that your fondant is rolled wide enough, and make sure that it is not too thin. If not, as you pull it, it's going to tear. So make sure that you do that. And now if you observed, I used my spray bottle to spray something. It was water. That's just ordinary water, because when you roll your fondant, you find out that your crumb coat is dried, so you just need to wet it up a bit before you glue your fondant on top. So I'm just cutting out the excesses, and I'm going to be turning my cake upside down to make sure that I put all the sides of the fondant properly into my cake, and then I'm going to be cutting out any excesses. Turning your cake upside down like this will help you push in everywhere, push in your fondant thoroughly and make sure that it's completely covered. So there's going to be a cake board, so to speak. I made it from a straw board, and I put aluminium foil on it. Okay, so we are going to be putting it under our cake, because we cannot just put this on top of a cake without a board, because we are going to be supporting this cake with dowel rods. Okay, so this is our cake and it's ready to go. So at this point, if you want to texture your ball, this is the time to do it. If you don't know how to texture your fondant, there are different ways of doing that, either with your molds or with different tools. I have a video for it. You can look below and watch it. So now I'm just going to be making the top of the gourd, the palm wine gourd. Okay, so just roll your fondant into a log, make a hole, and then use some glue and just glue it. And also don't forget to use a skewer to put this top in place. Okay, you don't want it shifting up and down. Now I'm just rolling some fondant to make something that will cover that line. Next, we are going to be decorating the cake where the palm wine gourd is going to be sitting on. It is a square cake. If you don't know how to cover a square cake, I have a video in my playlist. You can click on it and watch how to learn how to cover a square cake. So I have rolled out my fondant very thinly, and I am cutting out strips. I'm not using any particular measurement, but I'm just eye gauging it and making sure they are all equal. If you feel the need to make them equal, you may as well use a ruler. Next, we are going to be using a foam pad and a balling tool, and we are going to be filling the two sides of each strip. Now that we are done frilling both sides, I'm going to be twisting the strip just the way that I'm doing. Just twist it, you see that it will come together and the ruffle sides will just be standing. Okay, now I'm going to be using my small rolling pin to make sure to press it down to make sure that the twisted parts are in one place. Then I'm using my my pizza cutter to cut it into two. Now each side is going to be used as a ruffle. So now you can do this over and over. You can do many because you are going to be covering so many according to what you are going to be covering. So now I'm going to start arranging my ruffles on my cake just the way that I desire it. Alright, so this is how our ruffles look. So you can decide to do it in any way that you like. The next thing is just dusting it up and then using a steamer to remove the excess dust. So now I'm going to be putting some coral beads at the bottom of the cake. If you don't know how to achieve the right color tones for your coral beads, then you can watch my video on how I made coral beads. It's in the playlist below. I'll just put the link and the picture for you. So I have already made the beads and I'm just gluing them to the side of my cake, or I'm just arranging them to the side of my cake. It's time to put our 𝘾𝙤𝙀 gourd on top of the cake. So I'm just going to be putting my dowel rods into the cake, bringing it out and then cutting it according to the sizes or the size that I want. I'm just going to be using about 6 dowel rods, and then when I'm done, I'll place my 𝘾𝙤𝙀 gourd on top of the dowel rods that I have arranged, and then I'm going to be passing a long skewer that will hold the 𝘾𝙤𝙀 gourd and the cake together.